Welcome back. This is section 2 of module 9, and in this particular module we are talking about working with the sheet tabs at the bottom of each of your workbooks. We've already learned how to add some sheet tabs, delete them, and rename them. Now I'd like to go in and show you some of the additional sheet tab options you have when you're working with each of those sheets. We've already talked about some of the options you can do with sheets as far as adding sheets. We talked about deleting sheets and renaming them, but let's go ahead and look at all the options available when you're working with your sheet tabs. If you're on any sheet tab and you right-click your mouse, you're going to see a list of things you can do, starting with Insert. We talked about the fact that you can insert a worksheet and it will actually go to the left of the sheet you have selected or in front of that sheet. You can also right-click on a sheet tab and delete it. Remember, if you delete it, you cannot get it back, so make sure that's really what you'd like to do. You can also rename a sheet. Choosing Rename this way just selects the sheet tab name, and that way you can type right over it. It's actually a little bit easier just to double-click on the sheet tab name to do the same thing. Here you can move or copy. We did talk about the fact that you can pick up a sheet tab and move it left or right, but let's look at the options when you go this way. Here what you'll see is this is the name of the file that you're working in, and these are the sheet tabs in that particular file. If I wanted to take South America, the one I'm clicked on, and move it to the very front, I would choose Australia because it says Before Sheet and then click OK, and now look how it's moved that sheet tab. Now I'm going to right click on that again and go back to move or copy, because here's something that's really nice. Sometimes people ask me, can you take a sheet tab and actually copy it into another file like a blank workbook? And the answer is yes, you can. Let's say you want to copy South America, but this time what I want to do is put it in a new workbook. And I want to create a copy because I want to leave this one here and just make a copy in the new workbook. Now when I click OK, I want you to notice this is a brand new file. Notice it says Book 1 at the top, and notice we only have one sheet, and it's the one called South America. That's a really great way, instead of copying and pasting. A lot of times what happens when you copy and paste the data on one sheet into another file, you lose all your formatting, you lose your column widths and all that. Doing it this way, you don't lose any of that. I'm going to go back and close this, and we won't save it, and then we'll be back on the file we were working in. Alright, I'm going to right click again on South America, and I want to just mention the view code. If you click on this, it's actually going to take you into an entirely different program called Visual Basic. And you do have the ability to write some what they call VBA code and stuff like that to make Excel do different things. But I don't want you to get lost in here because this is programming, and if you happen to click on it accidentally, just go ahead and hit the X and close out of it. It's not actually part of Excel. Alright, I'm going to right click again, and let me talk to you briefly about protecting the sheet. We will talk in a later module about protecting your file and protecting your sheet, but you do have the ability to create a password to put on this sheet so that when someone opens it, they have to know the password to get in. Notice you can also change the tab color. If there's a particular sheet, like maybe the summary sheet, and you'd like that sheet to stand out for some reason, change the tab color, and when you click on another tab, you'll see that there's where the color shows up. I can also hide a sheet. If you hide a sheet, you can see that it looks like the sheet is not even there. You can right-click and unhide a sheet. It will list the hidden sheets. You choose the one you want to unhide and you click OK. Some reasons for hiding a sheet might be, obviously you don't want someone to see that sheet. Let's say, for example, you've created a list with a drop-down, and this is a little more advanced than we are right now, but you can have drop-down lists in Excel. Well, those drop-down lists have to live somewhere. They can live on a sheet you've created, and then you hide the sheet so that others can't get in and actually mess with the list and screw it up. So that's a great example of why you might want to hide a sheet. Now I'm going to go back because you can also do one more thing. You can select all the sheets. And you can see when you do this that all of these turn white or they're selected so that whatever you do on one sheet now appears on all the sheets. To deselect all the sheets, you just click on any sheet tab, and now you're on this one sheet tab only. Those are the options that you have when you're working with sheet tabs. Let's go ahead and wrap up this section, and I'm going to have you go over to section 3 where we're going to talk about three-dimensional formulas.